Hey guys, how's it going? It's TannerFishies here, back again with a new video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a topic that some people probably will not care to talk about or listen to, and if you are one of those people that do not want to hear about what was said regarding representation in the Ninjago TV series, I would highly recommend you click off the video and watch something else. In case you guys do want to stick around and hear what was said, we actually had a little bit of news, I suppose you can call it that, regarding various Ninjago staff members' thoughts and comments relating to LGBTQ representation in the Ninjago TV show. And that's pretty much all we have going on right now. We have a couple of comments from Tommy Andreasen that we're going to be talking about, and as a member of the LGBTQ community myself, I find these comments to be very intriguing to say the least. So I figured I would go ahead and talk about that in today's video, and once again, if you do not want to watch this video, that's totally okay. Feel free to go ahead and watch something else, and we will be back tomorrow with some more, I guess, traditional Ninjago content. So in terms of the LGBTQ community, as I have said in several places before, I myself am a member of this community, and I find representation to be extremely important in modern media. I don't feel like it's completely necessary, and we'll get more into why I feel like that later on in today's video, but I feel as though Ninjago having LGBTQ representation is not going to be a bad thing, and if it were to be a part of the show moving forward, once again, I do not consider this to be a negative. In terms of what was said regarding Ninjago's staff, Tommy Andreasen, one of the creators of all of Ninjago, had actually given a statement about representation on his Twitter during a Q&A over this past weekend. Why don't we go ahead and read through what was actually said, I'll give my thoughts on it, and then we will continue from there. So following the initial tweet where Tommy Andreasen himself actually gave some boundaries and guidelines regarding this Twitter Q&A, somebody responded with this question: is there any chance of LGBT rep in Ninjago since it's becoming more accepted in kids' cartoons lately? A pretty straightforward and pretty respectable question, I must say. Tommy Andreasen himself then replied with this statement, which is what we're going to be talking about. I think there is a high probability. The show is primarily there to entertain kids, so there are some old dogmas that need to change. That seems to be happening. So not a very, I guess, straightforward answer there, I must say. However, I feel as though this answer from Tommy Andreasen is very acceptable for a couple of reasons. For one, he did not explicitly say yes to this question. He also did not explicitly say no. He just said that there is a high possibility of this happening. That means it's highly probable, but it also might not happen. LGBTQ representation in Ninjago is possible, but not exactly confirmed. Which, once again, as a member of the LGBTQ community, I'm okay with this answer. I'm not going to be upset with him for not giving an explicit answer. I feel as though this was a pretty respectable answer, all things considered. Now, of the responses that I've seen to this tweet, several people also agree with me that this is a very straightforward and very respectable answer. However, some people are, of course, upset about this. Some people say that Ninjago is a kids show and therefore should not have representation like this. I feel like that's completely irrelevant. I've also seen some people complain that they do not want Ninjago to get political. I don't feel like it's political to want to see representation for yourself, so I'm going to be disregarding that argument too. You guys get it. Overall, the response to this tweet has been very positive and very accepting, which is good to me. Going back to the show as it is right now, we do not have any explicit representation. Has there been hints and stuff like that before? Of course, especially following Ninjago Seabound's release. But in terms of the show itself, not counting, of course, fan art or fan fiction, we don't really have much right now. But it is possible to receive representation like this in the future, and let's talk about why that is so important. I feel as though it's important to me personally because we have the right to see ourselves in our favorite series. Everybody does. Everybody has the right to relate to their own personal series or personal forms of entertainment in some way. They resonate with entertainment because they can actually relate to the characters on screen. Every single person ever should basically have the right and the opportunity to relate to a certain character, situation, or theme that they find within a TV show, movie, book, etc. And that includes members of the LGBTQ community. Even though Ninjago hasn't really had any specific LGBTQ representation so far, it's not like there hasn't been hints or background nods or anything like that. Once again, especially following Ninjago Seabound's release. There's definitely been some representation in the background, but nothing overly explicit. There hasn't really been a specific character or situation that members of the LGBTQ community can relate to, if that makes sense. Some may consider Ninjago to be a lesser show because of that, but personally, I don't really have a huge issue with it. As a member of the LGBTQ community, would I like to see something like that? Of course I would. But am I mad that we do not have it just yet? Not really, and here's why. While I do think it is important to have representation of every degree, I can find representation of myself in the Ninjago series that we have. I can connect with the Ninjago characters despite none of them being my exact person. I can find myself relating to other aspects of these characters. For example, I really enjoy Cole's relaxed personality. Zane's need and requirement for precision is also something I can relate to. Even Kai's hot-headedness to an extent. I can find myself latching onto a trait of every single character. I think that's important to take into consideration as well. I feel like even though we do not explicitly have LGBTQ representation right now in the Ninjago series, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I can still relate to the characters that we have in the situations that Ninjago has shown us. That's not to say that I can personally speak for everybody and every Ninjago fan. I certainly cannot here. Some people really want representation like that, and I can totally accept that and be okay with that. I'm just saying, me, myself as a person, I do not personally need LGBTQ representation to find enjoyment within something. Would I appreciate it? For sure, but is it required for me to enjoy something? Not really. I also kind of hesitate to desire one of the already established characters to suddenly be rewritten to achieve this goal of representation. I feel like representation in the Ninjago scene could easily come in the form of a new character or a previously established side character that doesn't really have a lot of backstory or development just yet. The main characters of Ninjago I feel like we already know pretty well, but that doesn't mean that there cannot be representation to be had within those main characters. There could certainly be some surprises regarding these main characters that we just haven't seen yet in the Ninjago series. Granted, it has been 10 years, so I feel like we pretty much know a lot of these main characters, but that doesn't mean that we know everything 100%. Who knows what's going to happen? I personally would like to see representation come in the form of a side character or maybe a brand new character, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a few surprises down the road. At the end of the day though, Ninjago is a LEGO property, and LEGO since the beginning has always been on a mission to be available to everybody across all areas of the world. No matter what you look like, no matter who you are, no matter what you identify as, LEGO has a very clear mission to include everybody. Part of the reason why LEGO characters have such bright yellow skin by default is because LEGO wanted to make sure that nobody would be left out. The bright yellow skin tone of LEGO minifigures do not represent any specific group of people. Therefore, they can be everybody. Everybody has an opportunity to find themselves in LEGO, and I feel like that's important because everybody deserves that type of representation. Everybody deserves to find themselves in something that they love. And considering how everybody who's watching this video right now is presumably a fan of LEGO, there you go. LEGO appeals to all of us, Ninjago included. Of course, some licensed LEGO themes do not really follow this rule. Some LEGO themes based off of specific movies or TV shows don't really follow this rule because they want to make their minifigures as accurate as possible to that source material, but LEGO minifigures by default, including the ones from Ninjago, appeal to everybody for a specific reason, because everybody deserves to find themselves in something that they love. Bottom line, should Ninjago have more LGBTQ representation? I mean, it definitely wouldn't hurt, but I also don't think that they should be reckless about this. I feel like they should take their time and incorporate it naturally instead of, trying to forcefully put representation in the show. I feel like that just would not be good for anybody. However, no matter what happens, I feel like the Ninjago community will still be upset in some way. The Ninjago community is pretty much known for being split and divided when it comes to things like this, or when it comes to just opinions in general, so I don't really know what to say here. I feel like Ninjago itself is going to be fine no matter what they do, and I will for sure continue to watch it no matter what decisions they make. And while it would be nice to have more specific areas of representation, like I said, I do not feel like it's necessary to create a good TV show. So with all that being said, you guys, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. I apologize if this video was kind of difficult to navigate and follow. I've tried to record this video over and over again. I just wanted to make my point very clear and very precise in what I'm trying to say. I do not want my words and statements to be spun or skewed in any way, so do keep that in mind. Once again, I apologize that the video was kind of hard to follow, but my overall take on this possibility is very positive. I feel like it's a very positive thing to move forward and develop, but that doesn't mean that questions and skepticism should be avoided either. So thank you so much for checking out this video, you guys. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Leave a comment down below talking about what you think about this. Do you feel like LGBTQ representation is important for the Ninjago series to possess, or are you currently happy with what Ninjago has going for it right now? And of course, what do you think about Tommy Andreassen's statements on this subject? Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments, you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.